Dear students of class 10, today I will discuss about Kapleker number. What is this Kapleker number? See, you have done many types of numbers. Now today I will discuss about Kapleker number. Kapleker number is a certain number. Suppose 45. What is the square of 45? It will be 2025. Now when you will divide this 2025 into two equal halves, that means 20 and 225. Now you need to add this 20 and 25. It will give you 45, the original number itself. So this is called Kapleker number. This is called Kapleker number. Let me show you the example at first. So students, you can see the definition of Kapleker number. Kapleker number is a number whose square when divided into two parts and such that sum of the parts is equal to the original number. Okay, so 45, this is the number is 45, its square is 2025, and I need to divide the number into two parts, 20 plus 25. But in the second case, you can see if the number is 297, that means 297, it will, if you do it, then it is 88209. Now you need to divide the number into two parts. So you need to take one leading 0. Before 88 you need to take 0. So it will be 6, the length will be 6. So 088 is one part and 209 is the other part. Okay. Now these 209 and 88 when will be added, it will give you 297. That is again the number itself. So it is also a Kapleker number. And finally example 3, that is 37. If you square it, 1369. Now 13 plus 69 equals to 82. So it is printed no, not Kapleker number. So now let me discuss the program with you all. How to do this Kapleker number? What is the logic behind it? Now students, in this program code I have discussed everything from the view of a number, not as a string. Now at first you need to take the number as input. So then SQ is the number to hold the square. You see SQ equals to num into num. It is holding the square. Temp is a temporary variable where temp equals to SQ. Temp will hold the value of the square value. Okay. Now C will be the counter to count the number of digits within the square value. That is, suppose 45 square is 2025. Now C will count that how many digits are present in that square value, that means in 2025. P1 will hold the first half of the either first half or second half of the number of the square number, and P2 will hold the second half of the square number. And so P is the total number after division. Okay, so now let me start. SQ equals to num into num, temp equals to SQ. Then you know how to count the digit. It is only digit counting and nothing else. So simple temp should be greater than 0. If it is greater than 0, then C++ and means counter will be incremented, and temp division equals to 10 means temp equals to temp by 10. So this is the simple digit count. Next, if C mod 2 not equals to 0, if the total count is your odd number, then I will increase the value of counter by 1. Why? See, in the second case it is 297. If I make it square, then 088209. It means if I don't include this 0, then it will be only 88209. So it is 5, all total 5 digit. So I need to increase the count digit by 1, because I will take one leading 0 at the beginning, only one leading 0. So it will become 6. Now I can divide it into 3 digits. Okay, that is why I need to check that whether the after counting that the counting part is an odd or even number. Next, see, p equals to int math.pout 10 comma c by 2. What is this mean? In this case you can see 10 comma c by 2, so it will be 3 over here, 10 by 3 math.pout 10 by 3 10 comma 3, then it will be 1000. So you need to divide the number, one part, divide the number by 1000, so you will get it 88. Another part is modulo 1000, that is 209. The same thing done over here. I take it int because math.pout returns double, so 10 comma c by 2. Then p1 equals to sq mod p, that is the remainder part, and sq by p, that is the quotient part. That is, suppose 45, its square is 2025, automatically the c is 4, so 10 comma c by 4 by 2 means 2, so 10 comma 2 means it is 100. So if you divide, suppose 2025, if you find the modulo, then it will give you 25, and division part will, quotient part will give you 20. Now you need to check that whether num equals to p1 plus p2. If this condition satisfies, then you will tell yes, the number is a Capricorn number. Now let us do the dry run. Let me show you by example also once. So this is the terminal window. Let me show you 45 Capricorn number. Again let me give 37 not Capricorn number. Again let me give you the number 297 Capricorn number. Now let me discuss the logic through dry run. Now students, let me discuss through example number 2. So let me do the dry run over here. Let me write it, dry run. Now suppose n equals to 297. Okay, now if n equals to 297, then what is written over here? What is it is doing? Sum equals to 0, c equals to 0. So s equals to 0 and c equals to 0. Then it is doing sq equals to num into num. So square root sq equals to 297 into 297. It will give you 88209, and then temp equals to sq. So t equals to sq. This much I will do. Next, while temp greater than 0, c plus plus. So next it is the counter part, and from this portion, while t greater than 0, counter will be incremented. So through this I will get finally the value of c equals to 5. You all know this part. Then if c mod 2 not equals to 0, then c plus plus. If c mod 2 not equals to 0, then c will be incremented by 1. So as 5 mod 2 is not equals to 0, c will be incremented by 1, that means c will be 6. Next, p equals to int math.pout 10 comma c2, p1 equals to sq mod p, p2 equals to sq by p. So p equals to 10 to the power C by 2, that means equals to 10 to the power 3, that means equals to 1000. Next, P1 equals to SQ mod P, that means 88209 mod 1000, it will give you 209. And P2 equals to SQ by, this is the quotient part, equals to 88209 by 1000, it will give you 88. Next, if n equals to P1 plus P2, that means it will check whether 297 equals to 209 plus 88. Yes, it is true. That is why it is showing you Capricorn number. Thank you students, today up to this much.